each and every single one of us has something to contribute to this world. We all have a role. We all have a space. Whatever it is, it's what brings joy to your heart and soul.
Welcome one, welcome all. This is your space for everything empowerment. I am your host, Tariq Williams. This is the Speaker Vision Podcast. Today, we have an amazing guest with us today. We have singer, songwriter, full of incredible energy. You can tell that music is this woman's passion. Everybody give it up for Angela Jadyn.
Hey, what's happening, guys? How are you guys doing?
Angela,
I'm so happy to be here.
Angela, it's such an amazing experience to have you here. And real quick for the listeners, I'm just going to tell them real quickly. So I have a friend, everyone, that I've known since like middle school, probably a little bit earlier than middle school. Her name is Skyla. And Skyla does a lot of the mixing for a lot of different shows in Scottsdale, Arizona. I was at the show. Angela was performing and I got a chance to see her sing and all those different things. And that's how Angela and I met. And I got to meet the incredible energy that is Angela Jadyn. And so lucky and blessed to have met you, Angela. And I can't wait to share your story.
Yes. I'm so happy that I met you too. I just love your energy as well. It's like, awesome. Yeah.
So let's get right to it. Once again, the Speaker Vision Podcast is the space for everything empowerment. And when you sing, Angela, there's nothing but empowerment in your voice. When you sing, when you talk about music, and you recently opened up for Nick Carter for his Who I Am tour.
Yes. It's pretty wild, actually. Wild and free. It's pretty wild. It was amazing.
So if you could describe who is Angela Jadyn in one word, what would that be?
Mighty.
Ooh, okay. And why mighty? I like that. Why mighty?
Mighty because I feel like people see me and they see this little lady, this little girl, but I'm full of mighty energy. You know what I mean? And I have a mighty voice. And I feel like it's my purpose to use it. So I feel like that kind of makes me feel not so small anymore. Right? Yeah.
I like that when you say it's your purpose to use it. Like you were given those gifts for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
People out there listening, whatever, and real quick, you have a gift. Everybody has a gift and it's your responsibility. It's your purpose to really put that out in the world. I love that. When you talk about your voice being your purpose, your energy, has music always been the thing for you? And how did you first start finding music?
Well, I started with vocal lessons. But even before vocal lessons, like it brought me back to like probably elementary school, and I would hear Whitney Houston's voice. And her voice was just so powerful and so moving. And I was just like, wow, it would give me goosebumps. And then when I would hear Mariah Carey's voice, I'm just like, I want to sing like that. But I know I'm not no Mariah Carey. I am not no Whitney Houston. Nobody else on this planet can be them, right? Because they are them. And we are ourselves. And that is what we are striving to be, is more and more like who we are, because each and every single one of us has something to contribute to this world. We all have a role. We all have a space, but it's whatever it is, it's what brings joy to your heart and soul.
Yeah.
And that's what music does. Like when I used to sing along to their songs, it would move me. And then my voice would heal me in those moments. Right. But then it would just kind of be like, okay, I can sing. I want to refine it. So my mom put me in music lessons, vocal lessons, and I started performing around town. And I just loved the feeling of being able to sing and just share that with people. And ever since then, it's become like this thing that I just love doing so much. And I feel like it opens up my heart more too.
Okay.
Because there's moments where I was just like, I don't know what my role is in music. I don't know who I am,
Mm.
because it's like I was always comparing myself to these awesome, amazing singers who are out there. If I didn't, I would, go back to the beginning of the song. If I didn't sound exactly, if I'm not hitting those notes, how they're hitting it in that same vowel placement, if I didn't sound like it, I would record myself. I'm like, nope, that note was off. That note, like I would pick myself apart ever since I was really little when it comes to singing.
I
Um,
think I think there's something to be said for like wanting to be better. Don't
mhm,
and for the fact that like one of my big things when I'm coaching clients and I'm talking to other individuals, I say to them, there's truly everybody talks about like the habits and the perfect routine to for
mhm,
success. And in my head, I'm like, I don't necessarily to subscribe to that. But if you want one habit, it's to compete, but not to compete with everybody around you.
mhm,
Compete with you every single day. If you can
mhm.
compete with you every single day, you're on the right track. Now,
Yeah.
I don't want to I fully believe in that. However, you were just talking about Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, and you're like, they're them and I'm not them. But
Uh-huh.
Angela, I don't want to I really want to shine a light on you because you're not them. But let me be clear, you are her. Like I'm seeing you perform. Okay, like let's not you are her. Okay, the energy you bring to the table. But I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were talking about your story, but I just had to put that out there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, but music is always, it's been a journey for me. It's always been a journey. It's about the journey, right? And just finding those little aha moments in your journey and in that joy of a journey that you just enjoy doing so much and the passion that's behind it. Like that's what gets you to open up and be in that flow state of just resonating with your highest self and your highest potential, and I feel like the Nick Carter, when I opened up for Nick Carter, that opened up like a Pandora's box because I lost my voice that night and I just couldn't hit the notes in my songs. Like it was crazy.
Wow.
But and it's never happened to me before. I've never lost my voice like that. And I still kind of powered through it. I was like, I am not canceling this show to save
Yeah.
my life. But I mean, like, I'm going to do it, even if I have to go on stage and do an interpretive dance with my track, with me singing in the background. I would have
Yeah.
been like, I'm going to do a comical moment and just interpret. But I don't even care. Like, I have no shame. But I was like, these songs, I got to let the room hear this. I've got to do this. It's healing for me. And I know these songs are healing for other people that are watching in this room out there. And this wasn't a show that was on TV or televised or anything like that, or for a documentary even. So it was just uh, under the same roof.
Yeah.
So whoever needed to hear it that night, I hope it helps whoever needed to feel like they too are a warrior. They too can be wild and free, and they need to learn to love themselves and just be wild and free enough and fearless enough to do so that, you know,
And
your
and for
true beauty can shine through.
and
Yeah.
for everybody listening right now, using the phrases wild and free and warrior. We're going to get to those very soon here because those are some originals from Angela that we're going to talk about later on in the episode. But I want to go back to something that you said earlier because you were just saying how you were feeling sick. You weren't going to open up for the show. Canceling was not necessarily on the table for you because you were going to do it no matter what.
Mhm.
But you had that moment. And one of the things about life is I feel like we can all, even like if it's being sick, if it's this, it's that, we can always find a reason to not be resilient and work through the conflict. We can always
Mhm.
find a reason, but oh, it's just too hard today. I'm just too tired
Yeah.
today.
Mhm.
I'm sick. You know,
I'm
not saying you weren't really sick, but you decided to fight through it.
Mhm.
Walk me through making that decision to still work through. And even though you were sick, even though you're worried about not being your best self, but I would argue that you were your best self in that situation because you're resilient through it. But in your mind, you were sick, you were struggling, not able to show up with your full voice. Tell me about how you were able to overcome that situation.
Well, it started out with sound check. And I thought Nick Carter and his team had gone back to the green room and it was just me and the sound guys up there. And when I realized that I couldn't even get through like half of my song, I couldn't get through half of Wild and Free without crackling or croaking or sounding like yeah, it was just craziness. So I cut it short and because I saw him off my peripheral vision and I was like, oh man, he's here. And I'm like, oh, and the other openers, yeah, Rocket Music, they were there watching, they were just like, see, I'm like, Mac, I need to say, nobody look at me right now. I'm just trying to warm myself up and get my voice right.
Yeah.
But they were there and I told the sound, I was like, no, let's cut it. Let's cut it. And I didn't even get to sound check Warrior because I was like, no, let me just rest my voice and see how it goes. And I was completely relaxed about it. I was disappointed that I couldn't get those notes out of me like the way that I wanted to.
Mhm.
And I was just like, all right, I'm going to step outside of the showroom. I asked his assistant, Chloe, I was like, can I just leave and come back? She's like, you are free to do whatever you want. I was like, okay. She's like, just be back here you'll probably go on about 8:15 after Jan Jan. She was another artist out here in Vegas that opened up for him. She's an amazing singer, by the way.
Mhm.
And I went out and like actually Cascades, which you know,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
he was there with me. He was my plus one to that event because I knew he was going to be the perfect person to take with me because he's always helped coach me through like my voice and technique or try this or try that or pull me outside of my box. And in my head, I was always I'm like, okay, this is how my song goes. I'm going to sing it exactly like how I recorded it on the record, right? Or on the album or whatever you call it. So we go out. Uh, I was like, I just need to sit in the car. I need to get out of the casino because it's smoky in here for one. Let's go back to the car. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to do some vocal warm ups uh, with you and just try this and try that. And then finally, he's like, you know what? If you got to sing it even lower than the half step key that you intended to do it at, if you got to drop it even lower, try it. And so he helped work me through singing it in a lower key.
Wow. Wow.
And he was like, this actually sounds really cool and amazing. He's like, try it like how Lady Gaga or Miley Cyrus would do it with that dark, like deeper voice of theirs that they use on some of their songs and some of their melodies that they've sung. And I was just kind of like, okay, I like that. So, and I, I tried it like a few times. I'm like, I'm comfortable singing it much lower, like Barry White lower. So, I mean, it worked. And he's like, just do it. Just you'll be glad that you did it and you got through it. Cause he was like, either you got two choices right now. You cancel and just say, I can't do it and I need to rest my voice, or you do it in this much lower key. And I was like, I'll do it an octave lower and I'll just come up on some of the other parts
Yeah, yeah.
and we'll see what happens. And whatever happens is meant to happen the way it's supposed to happen. And I didn't, at first I was frustrated, but then I was like, I'm just going to let it go because it's about the lyrics. It's about the music. It's about sharing my art with the people in that room and in that time and space. So I was like, I'm just going to let it go. And that's what we're going to do. And I went back in there. Um, I went to the green room. One of my friends, actually, that knows Nick personally,
Yes. Yeah.
she was back there with some of her other friends and friends that I went to school with too. So she was wanting to get a photo of all of us. And there was just so many people in the green room. And I was trying to preserve my voice. And I was just like, I need quiet time. It's just
Yeah.
too much
Yeah.
stimuli going on
Yeah.
in here. So I went backstage because Jan was already on stage singing her two songs. And so I was waiting backstage and her voice, because her voice is like putting cocoa butter on your skin very slowly after a nice, warm, hot, relaxing bath. Like
Very
that, like
smooth.
smooth and comforting. And I was just like, "Hmm." And I was like, just listening to her voice backstage. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm so happy that we're here and he gave us this chance to do this.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Nick comes back there where I was just trying to get my Zen moment. And I can't remember what we were talking about. I was just nodding my head and smiling and trying to just get pumped up for going out there and so I don't even remember what our conversation was just at the point.
But
But I
it
was
seems
just
like you were able to get back into that flow and get
yeah,
wherever you needed to be to show
yeah.
up.
Yes. And then when Jan walked off stage, she put her guitar down. The sound guy was like, "Okay, you're up." And I go out there. I was like, "What's up?"
So you're
I'm like,
bringing
"I'm
that.
just gonna
Okay.
get out there and do this. Let's do the dang thing."
So you're walking on stage. You're bringing the energy. Let's talk about Wild and Free, one of your originals. And so with that song, it really speaks to the importance of authenticity, of being who you are, the Who I Am tour. It just is the perfect fit, right?
Perfect. I'm just like, this is crazy. Like how suiting is it? Because I didn't know who I was as an artist until I made that song. And when that
Mm,
song got mixed, I cried. I was like, I've arrived. I'm like, I've been searching for who I am as an artist for so long, but that song, I don't know, it it made my soul so happy. I don't know if you've ever seen that Disney Pixar movie Soul, where
oh,
number 22 is like, no, I don't want to go. No, I don't know what my spark is. No, 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 no.
yeah.
That's me my whole life. And then finally, like when I hear music or when I'm singing, I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. But then I revert back to, I'm just like, no, no, maybe it's not, because society tells us, oh, you should do this. You need to do that. You need to go to college. You should go
Mm,
get a nice job that pays with good benefits and this and that instead of going after what it is that you're passionate about. And so there's
mhm.
just all this noise constantly.
There-
And so Wild and Free is about listening to who you are, and what you want.
there's so much. You talk about society. I
Mhm.
think the big part of what you just said is society will try to suppress you because society says, "Oh, I can't do that." So there's no
Mhm.
way Angela can, right? Society says, "I
Yeah.
can't do that." So there's no way you can do it because I can't do it, right? It's like the world tries to put down our gifts. And so when you talk about once again Wild and Free, you stepping into your power, stepping into your creativity, when
Mhm.
you're in that flow state of your authentic self and you're performing Wild and Free. And we might have to get some lyrics here, some singing here in a little bit. But walk me through the creation and the performance of when you sing that song. How do you feel?
When I sing that song, it's it's like almost me telling myself, you got to realize what's inside you,
Mm,
right? So it's not only me telling myself that, it's me telling the world that you got to realize what's inside you,
mm,
right? Or what is it? Maybe that's warrior lyrics. Hold on. I'm in the warrior state. Wild and free. Um, oh, you got the fire within you, but you keep it inside. Whatever you do, don't you let it die. It's okay to be imperfect, but it's okay to know you're worth
Oh,
it.
we don't want to hear you talk it. We want to hear you sing it, Angela. we 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 are depriving the people right now.
Oh my gosh, what were the lyrics again? Because I'm so used to hearing the music. Hold on. Um, you got that fire within you, but you keep it inside. Whatever you do, don't you let it die. It's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to know your worth.
Mm.
Forget the illusion. Take a look in the mirror. Him. Got a little frog in the throat there.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful because like even though I mean like it really is about like the lyrics and like the what you're putting into it. That part of saying like don't let it die, right? I think
Mhm.
so often when I think about my listeners and my clients and the podcast and what we stand for here, so often people want to dim our light.
Yes.
So often it's like let the dream die. See, there's a phrase people talk about pipe dreams, right?
Mhm.
I don't believe in pipe dreams. That's if something in your life is a pipe dream, and because basically what a pipe dream is saying it's a dream that you can never achieve. Because
Yeah.
it's so way out there, it's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream because you decided that it was a pipe dream.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. I agree.
I mean, what are we talking about here, right? Um, like you gave it power to not be attainable. How about you give
Mhm.
yourself the power and go get it?
Yes. Yes.
When you talk about music, Angela, you can get anybody excited, and I feel the energy once again. Tell me a bit more about why music is so important to you. Like when you think about music, like what does it make you think about?
Music, to me, I love all forms of music. It could be classical, it could be EDM, it could be rock, it could be a ballad, it could be R&B, it could be hip hop. I feel like music, if it moves you in any way or makes you feel anything, makes you physically dance, makes
Mm,
you cry, which I did earlier today with my friend Danny. Like she showed me this beautiful song and it's actually called Warrior too. But it's
mm,
this artist from Norway and for voice, it's a whole nother take of warrior, being a warrior, right? And I just started bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I want this chick to like open for me before I sing my version of Warrior. And I want, you know what I mean? Like I could see, I was like, Danny, I could see you and Tom and some of all the other dancers that I know, do a dance to her song, her rendition. And it's so like soothing and then come out with the Warrior version, that I have with the gospel choir and this full on rock band, live musicians, everything, like that's what I see that, and we both
mm.
started crying. So that's why I couldn't get to this on time because it's just it's like we were having this cleansing, beautiful conversation, heart to heart conversation. It's like almost a soul to soul conversation. And it was just yeah, music that moves. I think that's if it makes you feel anything, then it's doing its job. And the
Mm,
artist did their job as well.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
That brings me to some Warrior lyrics. Okay. And
Mhm.
I pulled a lyric that maybe I don't know if most people would pull. I'm not too sure, but it really stood out to me. Not because of my blindness, but because I think it's just so real, right? In the fact that you might not be able to see it, but you can feel it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Um, a lot of and Warrior there, you're talking about the strength of who you are as an individual. And I think a lot of times people don't realize how strong they really are And ultimately, everybody's stronger than what they think they are. Walk me through that particular lyric. Not you can't really always see it. You can't always really see that strength, but yet you can. It's in there. You know it's
It's
in there. Like you feel it, right?
feels, you can feel it. It just moves you, and it's like screaming to come out of you. Like it's that pit of the stomach feeling where you're just like, I can feel this, even though I can't see it. Doesn't mean that it's not there. And
Mm.
but you got to realize what's inside you, and you got to realize that like you're a badass that's so resilient, like a rock star that's one in a million. Every day that we get up, we fight like a warrior, whether you're on the front lines as a nurse, as a doctor, as an ER surgeon, saving lives all day. You could be saving lives. You're putting food on the table for your kids. You're the person at the convenience store, the gas station that just hasn't realized that they're just not awakened to who they are on the inside. But only they know there's something there, and they just haven't realized it yet.
I'm not letting you off the hook, Angela. You're not just gonna talk through your lyrics. Um, because once again, to help me get ready for this episode, to be clear, I'm fangirling over Angela Jadyn. I'm listening to her songs and I'm reflecting and reminiscing on oh God, when she sang "Locked Out of Heaven." When I'm listening in this, I'm reminiscing. I'm like, yo, this is the energy, right? Would you mind kind of just going through that for those lyrics again for us, and just kind of just I really want people to feel the energy and what you bring to the table because it's so powerful. And the other thing and reason why I think that's so important is because we all have our passions that we're working through in life. And I think it's so important. It's not necessarily about finding your passion, but it's about putting passion into what you're doing. And I know that you do that all the time.
Yeah. You're ready for it.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. You can't see it, but you can feel it. You gotta realize what's inside you. Like a million, like a rock star, one in a million. Every day we fight like a warrior, like a warrior.
Mm, beautiful. Beautiful. And real quick, I'm gonna put this out there for the listeners. We had some technical difficulties getting on here. Okay. And so we had some technical difficulties. So Angela is gracing us with her magnificent voice through her iPhone mic, everybody. I want to put that out there for everyone, but it's
I don't know what it sounds like.
but it's still, it's about the energy and it's the passion that you're putting into it. And once again, I think, and we're gonna link the songs down below for everybody to get the opportunity to listen to them because I think they're so powerful and so true, and they really speak to the importance of authenticity and recognizing your strength as an individual. If you're enjoying the episode right now, always hit that like and hit that review. But it doesn't have to stop here with just the podcast. Right now, I have my Recognize Your Vision coaching program, Win, in 2025. In this program, it is an online course to really building your problem-solving mindset, not just growth mindset. Everybody talks about that. But when problems and trials arise, are you able to actually have a problem-solving mindset? What does that look like? What does that even mean? We go through that in the course so you can really win for your goals in 2025. We break down before the vision, visualization, innovation, solution-oriented, integrate, on your way, and no limits. because nothing can hold us back on the wearevisionofhope.com Speak Your Vision podcast. So check it out. If you want to even learn more about your situation and what that looks like and what's really holding you back, we also got the Unveil Your Path quiz, and we go through a bunch of different steps to really help you along your journey. Check out the quiz. These things are limited time. Let's get it. When I think about your story and putting yourself out there as an artist, you never really know when opportunity is going to come your way. When you and I were talking, you mentioned that the opportunity opened up for Nick Carter kind of just happened out of nowhere, as well as your opportunity to get on the Matt Goss show. Would you mind talking about those situations?
Yeah. So I'll go back to the Matt Goss thing here.
And who is Matt Goss for those who don't know?
So Matt Goss is a UK singer. He has a twin brother in which he was in a group called Bros with his twin brother. His brother played the drums and he sang, and he was huge in the UK in the late 80s and traveled with like Debbie Gibson and toured with her. And I guess he at the time he was starting a show out here, and I just so happened to be at a dance studio doing what I love to do. I love taking dance classes because my friends teach. They're amazing dancers out here in Vegas. And I took a class, and then after class, like I saw a flyer just sitting on the counter saying, oh, looking for singers that can dance, dancers that can sing, for UK artist, recording artist Matt Goss. And the show is going to be produced by Robin Anton, which is the creator of the Pussycat Dolls. And I was like, oh, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Let me try that. Like that's awesome. And so it was held at the Palms Pearl Theater here in Las Vegas. And there was dancers that were singing and singers that were dancing, and they were both there, Matt and Robin. And I got up on stage, my crazy big old hair. And I can't even remember what I sang. I think it was like an Alicia Keys song. Yeah. And then they put music on. Was it Alicia Keys? It was either her or it was a Christina. Oh, it might have been Christina Aguilera's Impossible song that I sang. I think it was the Christina Aguilera Impossible song, actually. Okay. And then they put on music to see how I move to the music. So I just freestyled it. And then that was that. And then me and another girl got called up at the very end. Like, I think you guys are meant to be together. Like, you guys are the same size. You guys have amazing voices. Yeah. So yeah, that was a nice run. I did that for about 7.5 years, and we traveled all over. Wow. It was probably one of the most memorable, awesome times of my life. And can I just circle back on this? Yeah. So my friend Amber, she is, I believe she's the director, one of the directors of communications for Cure for the Kids, which is a cancer, kids with cancer. So it's a foundation out here for that. I can't really say much about it because I didn't read through exactly what it entails, but I know it's something that Nick Carter fully supports. And he did a thing where he invited all of his fans that are going to see his show to basically bring in a toy, an unwrapped toy, so that they can give it kids for Christmas. And she was in charge. I had no idea, but I was on my way to the car when I was trying to work out like vocal situation with Cass. She was like, Angela. And I'm like, eh? I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing here? She's like, no, I'm here for Cure for the Kids for Nick Carter. What are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm opening for Nick Carter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so she's like, yeah, then when he was singing on stage after I had opened, and all the openers did their thing. She came down, like we sat next to each other during the concert. We were just catching up, talking about the Matt Goss days and this and that. Like it was wild. And she's like, "Yeah, I went backstage," and I was like, "Angela was opening up for you, like to your neck," and he was just like, "You know her? You know her?" It was just the whole. It was wild. That was definitely wild and free right there.
There you go.
Wild and free. And I was
There
just like,
you
"This is
go.
weird. This is crazy." But I don't know. To circle back, what were we talking about?
Well, let that be the answer to
That was
all
the Matt. Yeah.
the Matt Goss and how you got to the Nick Carter thing. But let this be the answer to everyone out there in saying that, like, and I think there's an actual phrase for this. And excuse me for not remembering who quoted this and what this, who the person is, but it's true. We're truly one conversation away, whether we realize it or not, from changing our life.
Mhm.
Like you might not know who the person is. You might not know, why you need to be in the place that you're at. But, the both of those moments kind of came out of nowhere for you and you were able to be there at the right place at the right time and be
Mhm.
able to take advantage and have some really amazing opportunities. And so for everybody listening, let this be the moment that says, "Hey, like, let me shoot my shot today."
Mhm.
Michael Jordan talks about it, right? Like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I think, Angela, you are the perfect example. It's like, oh, that seems like a neat opportunity. I'm going to go for it and see what happens. If I don't get it, cool. If I do,
Yeah.
let's go. You know what So I think that's incredible, Angela. I think that's incredible. Angela, when you think about, and we're going to get ready, slowly get to ready to wrap up here a little bit, but
Mhm.
if you could explain in one word the impact that you would like to have on the music industry, what would it be?
The impact. Does it have to be, is it a sentence? Is it a word?
I would like a
Is it
word, and
a
then
word?
from there, we'll define it.
The word would be illuminate.
Illuminate. Ooh, okay. Okay.
Illuminate. Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me more. Why
Illuminate.
illuminate?
I feel like I could shed some light into others' lives through music, through just me being me. I work a lot on myself. I really do. I truly do. I meditate a lot. I'm very spiritual in that sense. And I just feel like I learned to discover who I was as an artist, as a human being, and I know who I am. And I know that there's others out there that are running around maybe lost and don't know who they are, or they do know who they are, but they're masking who they are because they're
Mm,
afraid to be who they are. And I feel like you should just be your authentic self. And the ones that get you, get you. The ones that don't get you, you're lost. It's like I'm just going to be in my happy, joyful state of what my true human spirit is telling me that I am, and I just like, I feel like you just have to dig deep within your soul, within your spirit and uncover that. And then just be unapologetically you.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y-
Yeah.
You know, I was talking about this on another podcast episode recently. Um, you know, actually, I don't know if you know this about me or not, Angela, but back in my day, I used to sing a little bit. I was in the church choir,
Yes. Yes. Tell me
and
more.
my my grandmother and my mom, one of the big things they would always tell me is, Tariq, always let your light shine.
Mhm.
And I would always, when I used to lead the choir sometimes and all that. And granted, I haven't sang in ages. Okay. And it's
Mhm.
one of those things like you have to practice your craft. You have to work on your craft. However, comma, I can't call you out and not call myself out. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. So and
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. It's I I think that understanding the impact of your gifts, understanding the impact of who you are as an individual, like that's truly your responsibility.
Yeah.
One of my friends asked me, Tariq, define the word, like what does the word vision mean to you? Not like what you can or can't see, but like your vision for your life. And I gave him a couple like sentences, but ultimately my vision, your vision listening is your responsibility.
Mhm.
My vision is my responsibility. And, you and I were talking before about my logo, about the dots under my logo. And I have these hoodies, and on the back, you see my logo, and there's some dots under the logo of the hoodie. If you want a hoodie, let me know. But,
Woo!
anyways, but it says the word vision in Braille.
I love it.
And the fact is, just because other people can't see your vision doesn't make it any less great.
That is the truth.
And so, whatever that looks like for you, I loved your word illuminate.
Mm.
Shine light on your path and then go on your journey.
Yeah.
And go on your journey.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome that you said you sang in a church choir because I did too. Like, I love it.
you
And
know,
like Warrior, I hear a church choir, like a gospel choir singing like powerfully with harmonies, If
yeah,
you can't see it, but you can feel it, like that's I see that. I'm like,
yeah.
so I might have to join the choir when we go on tour.
Let's go. Let's go. I might need to do a little bit of practicing. I have to get back in the zone there. But I've always loved music. I've always loved music, and I listening to you sing and being able to see you perform, reminded me of my love for music as well.
Mhm.
And so I encourage everybody listening, whatever it is that they love, make time for it.
Yeah.
Make time for it. Oh, I don't have enough time for this. I don't have enough time for that. No, no, no. But you can make the time,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know? You gotta prioritize. And
That's right.
so if we prioritize our work, our bills, our this, our that, we can also prioritize the things that we love as well.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's so impactful. Angela, it's been amazing talking to you. Um,
Oh,
but for the person out there right now that is thinking, I'm gonna give up. I'm over it, and I don't know if I can continue with whatever career it is. Whatever I want to do, I'm done with it. What would you tell that person? How would I do that? Like, because it seems like you're on that journey right now, and you've become that.
mhm.
And I think there are people that are struggling to find that. So, what would be your advice
Mhm.
for that person?
I would say, okay, what is it that brings you joy?
Mm,
And try to do that every day. What is your passion? And if it brings you joy and puts you in this nice little flow, happy, and puts a smile on your face, keep choosing that, even though, yes, you have to do X, Y, and Z to get by in life, right? Do those things, but still you can be your authentic self in those situations and just think of it from a different perspective. Like, this might be a lesson why I'm here. Like this might be a lesson why I'm at this job, but really I want this. But it's a matter of just choosing that ultimate joyous, whatever that means to you,
you
whatever
know
brings you joy, you choose it and then
that,
keep choosing it.
and then keep choosing it. I love that. And that couldn't be more real, but yet it sounds so simple, right? Like choose
Mhm.
joy, choose joy. But yet people don't do it, right? Like
Mhm.
choose joy, but yet people
Choose
don't do
joy.
it. But people don't do it. Like, this is actually mind, but it's actually I'm mind blown by this at the moment because it's true. It
It's
is.
very true.
It's so
Like,
true. Because real quick, whatever it is you're doing right now, that's not joyful. Newsflash: you probably shouldn't be doing it.
yeah,
I don't mean to be
so
rude or
true.
harsh, but it's the facts, right? If it's
Yeah.
not bringing you joy, it's gotta go.
It's
If it's
got to
not,
go. Or if you have to do what that is that's not bringing you joy, you got to counteract it to balance it out and go completely the opposite spectrum and choose joy so much harder. What I've realized in my journey is I used to have this job and I'm not going to say what it was, but it was so difficult, so stressful. I had meltdowns all the time and it was a great career path. I hated it with passion, but it taught me a lot of skills that I am proud to have learned to this day. But oh, it taught me to run headstrong, full steam ahead to myself and
mm,
question myself, what is it that you want, Angela? Because it's obviously not this. So
yeah.
I went from, it was like a whole 180, from one end of the spectrum to the next. And by doing something I absolutely hated, I ran so hard into the direction of what I wanted and I wanted to sing. That's what I want to do is just sing and sing my songs and find me as an artist and get me out there. So yeah, like it kind of, I'll just leave it at that.
In the in the famous words, famous philosopher, famous yeah, let's just stick with that. Famous philosopher, since we're talking about music here, Beyonce.
Yeah.
To the left, everything you own to the box to the left. If it doesn't serve us, to the left, to the left.
Yeah. Probably looks like they're right. Probably they're left. But right.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Incredible. Before you go, you mentioned your inspirations of music and some of the people you've connected with. Would you mind sharing with the audience, some individuals that you've connected with in the music industry and some of your inspirations?
Mm. Mm. Well, let's see. I've connected, it's just hilarious. Like just the people that I've encountered throughout my journey. Quincy Jones.
Wow.
Quincy Jones was one of them. And if it wasn't for the Mac Show, I definitely wouldn't have met him because we were performing at the Rubro, I want to say. Lou Rubo, mental, it's like a neurological, it's for mental health and it's this building downtown. I want to say, I might be saying it wrong, but, we performed a private like black tie event and Quincy Jones he was here for the Power of Love. Um, Power of Love. It's like a iHeart music festival, but it's Power of Love Gala. I don't remember, but
Okay.
I didn't go to it, but he came to the event that we were performing at, and it was a room full of neurosurgeons, and they were so serious. And it was very like nobody was even looking at us. They were all having conversations amongst each other because I mean, they are brain surgeons. Like in that room, having serious conversations
About
about the human
brains, yeah.
brain, right? Like serious stuff. So they were all, it was just very black tie and their bow ties, just sipping on their wine and having one-on-one conversations all throughout the room. Meanwhile, Quincy Jones was sitting in the front. He's
Wow.
the only one. And me and the other backup singer, we're just doing our little finger snapping and singing backup, from that. And he was just the only one moving in the room and smiling so big. And he just loved it so much. And then one of his, I think it's his assistant, pulled us from backstage and it was like, Mr. Quincy Jones would like to see you. And it's like, having me. We came over and he had the biggest hands. I was like, whoa. So we did like one of those things, and he gave me his card, which was really cool. And we kept in contact even after that. We took a picture together and he's like, email me, let's talk. And so I would pick his brain about a lot of things. And, he actually gave me a call on my birthday, which was really cool. And we were
Wow.
just talking music. That was one of the coolest birthday gifts I had ever. It felt like, what? Who would have thought? Like,
Wow. Yeah.
if that's not even a word, but I was like, whoa, the Mr. Thriller himself, and all these off the wall, like, whoa, this is insane. And I was actually in LA, but because he was already starting to experience health problems. This was, gosh, I want to say 10 years ago or so. He was already kind of just like, oh, know, use anything, but the call was enough for me. And we would message, we would email back and she was like industry. And I was like, Napster. Like he was so hung up on because he's so old school in the music realm, like he, there was no YouTube, there was no smartphones, there was no, at the time that he was coming up in the music world, and when he started, like technology has grown so much since then. And so we talked about that for a little bit, and I could tell he was a little upset over it, like just the
Yeah.
tone in his voice. And I was like, but you did it without any of that, and I'm like, and you should be proud of that, and it's
Yeah.
what I told him. I'm like, you're an icon, you're a legend, and he was just like, oh, well, we'll keep in touch, and he sent flowers to my house too. I was
Oh
like,
my
what? And
gosh.
yeah, I was like,
Wow.
this is craziness, like, this is awesome. Like, thank you, and he would send Christmas cards. Like, I think it goes to everyone in his company and stuff. And so that was really cool. He was awesome. And then we lost touch after a while, and but it was just awesome. And then there was another time I was at the W Hotel in LA, and I was there with Leah Austin because I used to do these R&B live uh open mic nights out there, and she was there. And if you don't know Thea Austin, she was the voice that sang "Rhythm is a dancer." It's a da, 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 da. That like, do yeah, that sound like that. I can't really pull it off the top of my head, but
You're killing it.
she,
I'm loving it.
she was there, and we were having a conversation, and she's like, "You know who you need to meet?" And I was like, "Who?" And she's like, "You need to meet Will I Am so he could produce you." And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been saying that. I've been saying it. Like, just, I think I need to meet him today because his beats are so thick. She scans the room and she's like, there's Will I Am right there. And she beelines over to him. And I was like, is this really happening? Am I being punked? Is this a dream right now?
Where is Ashton?
Yeah, crazy. And then, like, I went over there and he's like, hi, how, oh, you're a singer, but like they hugged. Like when I saw them from across the room, it's like they knew each other from a while back. I can't quite, I can't remember. It's kind of a blur. It's kind of a blur now looking back, but he introduces himself and then he's like, well, put my number in your phone. And I was
Wow.
like, oh my goodness, really? So I put it in there, like, I asked him a few days later, I just texted him. I was like, what's one word that you could give exactly what this is full circle. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
And this is what my podcast is all about. Let's do it.
So if you, I asked him if you could have one word to give to young aspiring artists out there like myself, what would that word be? And he said vision.
Mm.
All he said. And I left it at that. I didn't text him anymore. That was enough for me to keep moving forward in my journey. I don't even know if I still probably have the number saved in my iCloud, all my contacts, but I'm like, there's no need, like he gave me what I needed to hear in that and see in that exact moment because it was a text message. It's vision.
Wow.
If
Wow.
you can't see it, you can't.
Does-
If you can't see it, but
It,
you can feel it.
it doesn't make
That's
it
what.
any less great.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I need you to do me a favor, Angela. I want you, you don't have to do this, but how funny would it be if you found in your contact Will.i.am's phone number and say, hey, a while ago, you told me that I asked you about one word that you would tell an aspiring artist, and you told me that word was vision. And I've started opening up for other artists now. I was on the Mad Gosh, I was starting to do a bunch of different things. And, right now I have the opportunity to be on the Speak Your Vision podcast.
This is crazy. It's so wild.
Oh my gosh. Angela, you're an example to and a role model to so many. And I really appreciate the energy you brought on the show today and ultimately really sharing one, anybody listening, you're stronger than what you think you are. And two, you're always going to be just one conversation away, one opportunity away from truly changing your life. Like,
Yeah.
it's interesting. The show that you were on, the Mad Goss show, meeting Will.i.am, the opportunity for Nick Carter, like those things weren't like planned out. They kind of just happened in a sense for you. And I think in a sense, obviously there was hard work to get to where you are and to get your skills and your voice to a certain place. So I don't want to belittle that by any means. Your voice is amazing. And I could tell that you like I said, I love watching you perform and being there.
Mhm.
But there's something to be said for somebody that's listening right now, thinking about giving up and just, keep going. Be consistent. You got it.
Yeah. Just
And
keep going. Keep
Angela,
going.
Angela, thank you so much for sharing your story and your experiences with all of us today. It was super empowering.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Tariq. This is awesome.
Angela, we're going to have to do this again, hopefully very soon, and we get to hear more about the amazing things that you're doing. But thank you so much, Angela.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Once again, everyone, this is the Speak Your Vision podcast, your space for everything empowerment. I'm your host, your mindset coach, Tariq Williams. Not only I am Vision of Hope, it's about all of us. We
Yes.
are Vision of Hope. Let's get it.
Mhm.